think for them, the way they visualize the whole thing, because if like the bass is a very natural wood, it has its own aesthetic. So the challenge for them was probably to not make it look like a spectacle, like this Broadway production, because it's a musical, you can go berserk with it, but and yet keep those aesthetics in place,
Yeah, as a
the
Bulbula, as
liveliness, the
a,
childlike quality. Yeah,
yes,
and
as
he
a
almost
mischievous,
resembles Hariji at some point.
yes, as a mischievous Bansi. Like Hariji is also like a Bansi, so the Bansi is also, and like Hariji, he's very humble background from us, very humble folk instrument. He has come to a classical and a world global musician.
Welcome to This Week at the NCPA, a very special event on the 30th of May. It's Bansuri Jab Gaane Lage at the Tata Theatre. 30th of May, 6:30 p.m. Tickets are live now at Book My Show as well as at the venue. They're going out very, very fast. It's a musical on the great Pandit Hariprasad Chaurasia's life and his contribution to Indian cinema. It's an NCPA presentation in collaboration with Vrindavan Gurukul and Eastern Harmony. Thank you, our CSR partner, Jeffries. I'm very pleased to welcome Pushpanjali Chaurasia ji, writer of the show. Also, she's Pandit Ji's daughter-in-law and director of Eastern Harmony. Hi, Pushpanjali ji, how are you?
Hi. Hello, I'm fine. Thank you for having us.
And Reshma Shetty, who's the lead actor in the play, in the musical. Hi, great to have you, Reshma. How are you?
Very, very excited. Thank you so much for having us.
I want to start with you, Pushpanjali ji. I mean, for the last 6 decades and more, Pandit Ji's name has been inseparable from the flute, the bansuri. He's been renowned internationally. Why choose this particular mode of celebrating his life, which is the musical? Talk about that, please.
Yes, so Panditji has been a brand ambassador of Indian classical music, and everybody knows about his contribution towards Indian classical music. But there is another side of him, his contribution to Indian film music. And so we have talked about this aspect in a documentary that we made on him. There are three autobiographies that we have on him. So we were thinking of another media because it is the biography, the film, they are all almost 10 years old. So we were thinking of a new medium from on which we can show his story, mainly his contribution to Indian film industry. And that is why we thought of this enactment, a theater show, a musical theater, where we can show his uh, iconic songs that he contributed as a flautist, and also some iconic songs where he has composed music. And his story from a restless son to a musician, to a world class musician, has been told so many times in interviews and in films and in media. But we wanted to tell it in a different way, through the perspective of from the perspective of three women in his life. And that is why we thought we should put it as a theater, as a musical.
That's lovely. Also, I understand that the musical portrays various events in his life, like his departure from Allahabad, his stint in All India Radio in Cuttack, his transfer to Mumbai, and of course his initial struggles, and then his break into Hindi films, followed by all those wonderful collaborations, the most notable of which was with Shiv Kumar Sharma ji. Um, I want to understand, Reshma, what you play in the musical, the character that you play, and the challenges that you faced while portraying this character.
I have been extremely blessed that I get to portray five very crucial women, who played a very important role in Hariji's life. I play his sister, Banno, and incidentally, my nickname is also Banno. So, and then I play another lady who was like his mother, his neighbor, who nurtured him as a mother. And I play his wife, Anuradha ji. I play Guruma, which is a huge, both these characters are very, very challenging for me, Annapurna Devi ji. And I play his mother, who's no more, his own mother. So the challenges are, yes, to be able to play all these five roles in quick succession, to get into that, into the skin of the character, like they say, and primarily because Annapurna Devi ji is such a larger than life character, and probably first time in the history of theatre somebody has played that live on stage, and for even for Guru Maharaj Anuradha ji. And those were the challenges I thought was very overwhelming for me as an actor to portray.
Lovely. Pushpanjali ji, please talk to us about the music team and having this music performed live. I believe there's going to be music from Amar Prem, from Taj Mahal, Guide, Silsila, Chandni, Lamhe, all these memorable films that Pandit Ji has collaborated on, given music for. So the live music team that is going to be recreating this sound on stage.
Yes, so we have very talented musicians, and the bansuri, the flute that is being played is by the flute sisters, Debopriya Chatterjee and Suchismita Chatterjee. They are one of the foremost students of Pandit Ji. They have been learning from Pandit Ji for the past 30 years, 35 years. And Panditji has many female students, and it is and they are one of the finest. And when you see the play, you can understand what I'm saying, because they are phenomenal. And the way Panditji has played, not this play not just has Bollywood music, but also his music that he has done with Ilya Raja, Carnatic music, his world fusion music, then the Call of the Valley music that he did with Pandit Shiv Kumar Sharma. All these instrument pieces have been played so beautifully by the flute sisters, both Debopriya and Suchismita. Besides them, we have other talented musicians, Aisha Mukherjee and Preeta Majumdar is singing, is the female singer, and Chintan Rana is the male singer. He's rendering the songs from Talat Mahmood Saab to Muhammad Rafiji to Suresh Wadkar. So the beautiful songs, and all these songs, yes, Panditji has played originally in the films. He was very fortunate to, ever since he came to Bombay in 1962, the first break that he got with Madan Mohanji, and then there was no looking back. So he's have made many iconic songs with S.D. Burmanda, Lakshmikant Pyare Lal ji, Shankar Mahadevan, Shankar Jaikishan ji, and so many other, Adi Burmanda. So all these music you can see, and the live musicians are, yes, very talented.
Reshma, the musical is very lucky to have Pushpanjali ji as the writer, because she has observed Panditji's life from very close quarters, being family.
Absolutely.
I'd like to talk about Kunal Vijaykar, the director, and the nuances that he brought into this musical, because directing a musical is very different from directing a traditional play with the blocking and things like that. So
Right.
talk about the director and your interactions with the director.
So we have two directors actually. It's also co-directed by Bhushan Korgaokar, and both these people come from a space of very fine aesthetics, and I think for them the way they visualize the whole thing, because if like the bass is a very natural wood, it has its own aesthetic. So the challenge for them was probably to not make it look like a spectacle like this Broadway production, because it's a musical, you can go berserk with it, but and yet keep those aesthetics in place, and to have these two actors come and perform. So putting that together probably was something that they were really working together to keep the aesthetics of the bars, of the earthiness of it, and tell the story in a very simple format yet very impactful there.
Pushpanjali ji, does Vikas Rawat, the actor, play Pandit Ji in various facets of Pandit Ji's life? Or does he
They
play
No,
figured that
multiple
out.
characters?
no, actually, Vikas Rawat plays his soulmate. Like if you're telling the story of Panditji in this musical, we wanted to tell his personal story and his professional story as a musician. So the personal stories are being told by the five women in his life. They are talking about his childhood, his teenage, his struggles, his triumphs. But the musical part, how he struggled in the studios, how he struggled to get his first flute, those stories have been told by Vikas Rawat. and he's the Bansi. He's taken the part of Bansi. So as a Bansuri, as his soulmate, as his best friend, he's talking about his Panditji's journey as a musician.
Oh, how beautiful! So you've
Yeah,
actually
that's a master
written it.
stroke, I
That's
would
a
say.
master stroke. I would say too.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Like you said, there is so much written, said, filmed on Panditji's life. As a writer, what is it that you wanted to include that hadn't been covered before? And obviously, the methodology you've used is very unique. I don't think anybody has gotten into Panditji's life in the form that you have gotten into with this particular musical. But even otherwise, things that you wanted to put into this particular performance piece.
Before doing this, we had presented a program called Hari Rang Hari Sang, where Panditji is himself talking about the stories behind the songs, these iconic songs that he created, that he contributed with the various music directors. So this time he said कि नहीं वो हो चुका है, you do something different. If you want to do something about me and my music, my life, then you do it in a different way. And that is when we thought ki the linear storytelling, is very boring, and it is has always been told in books and films. Let's talk about in a different fashion, in a different way, where the female anchor is talking about his personal stories, and Vikas, of course, is talking about his um, professional stories, the stories behind the songs, like how what went, the stories behind some iconic songs like SD what happened in the sitting of SD Burman Da, what happened behind Talat Mahmood Saab's song, his first break that Madan Mohan Ji, Master Sonic, gave him, how Taj Mahal was created, the Taj Mahal song Jo Wada was created. All these, so we wanted to put stories, and then uh, with the storyline, whatever music that fitted best with that storyline, we as tried weaving in those stories to make it interesting, for so that the and it because Panditji is a very witty and humorous person, it was also a very challenging thing to add humor to the storyline, so that and Vikas Rawat has done such a fantastic job. His wit,
Absolutely.
his humor, he has as a
The
bulbula, as
liveliness, the
a,
childlike quality. Yeah,
yes,
and he
as
almost
mischievous,
resembles Hariji at some point.
yes, as a mischievous Bansi. Like Hariji is also like a Bansi, so the Bansi is also, and like Hariji, he's very humble background from us. Very very humble folk instrument. He has come to a classical and a world global musician. And same Hariji ne bhi वैसे ही his journey is also like that, and Bansi's journey is also like that. So it is very, it was, I think, the right metaphor to use to portray Panditji's life.
Reshma, is there something that you that really led to you as a growth to grow as an actor, being part of this musical? And if you've been part of other musicals before, please feel free to tell us about it, because the musical art form is a very different art form for an actor
Yes,
to be a part of.
that's true. Actually, this is my first musical, you'd say. I mean, I'd like to say I am a trained Bharatanatyam and Odissi dancer, but that's just dance and other things. I've done plays separately. This is my first musical. So in terms of the growth, yes, tremendous, because as you play the characters, what you learn from each of them, and even from Hariji's life, you can relate so much as an actor and as an artist level. The choices that he made and how you just keep going, and the minute you feel tired, and I feel like, no, imagine Hadiji, he was like, there was no breathing space in his life, and that's why he is where he is. And honestly, my association with Hariji was from 1996, I would say. So I've in my like this in my thoughts, in my consciousness, he was always inspiring me in a very indirect way, because his stories always about how he would knock at Annapurnaji's door for like 3 years, and then that kind of shit, that kind of junoon that they say, that's something that I've been trying to imbibe and learn as an actor and get better as an artist, I'd like to say. And I think one more thing I'd just like to add, because, going ahead with this format that we talk about, it's a very different sensory experience, right? When you see characters from his life right in front of you, it's very different from, I mean, a film has it, but seeing a live actor breathing, I think it just takes you into that space in a very different way. So, even that is something that I enjoy as an actor, to be telling the story connected to the audience right there. It's very live. Each show is different. Each experience is different there. So each time I grow.
I'm just curious to know, Pushpanjali ji, what kind of production design you've kept. Have you kept it sparse? Because the Tata Theatre is a large performance area. The stage is pretty expansive. So, in terms of sets and production design, have you kept it very simple, or is there a unique theme to it?
Absolutely, we've kept it very simple and minimalist, and because there are three stages. So the first stage is in Allahabad, where Panditji's humble household. So it's very minimal, and the second is All India Radio Cuttack, the studios where he did his music. So that's all. We don't have
And Bombay.
band. And then Bombay is again his house in a small humble house, and his recording studio. So it's very minimalistic and very simple. So on the backdrop we have six drapes, which symbolizes the six holes that a flute has, and with lights it is of course they beautify it. And then we have gobos to portray different setups like Allahabad or All India Radio or Bombay. वो सब gobos we symbolize them with the gobos. It's very simplistic, very minimalist.
Yeah, in fact, there are times when the lights play with the music as though the flute is playing it. You will
Oh, how
see that.
lovely. How
Yeah.
lovely.
Yes. Sare Gama Pada Nisa,
Yeah.
I would like to add that the lights, because the set is very minimalist, so the it is being beautified only with the lights, and the lights have been contributed by Mr. Dhiren Merchant. He's a veteran in this line, and he has beautifully with just drapes. He has beautifully. You will see very nicely he has done up the production, the light production, and which the whole stage उभर के नजर आता है.
There you have it, Bansuri Jab Gaane Lage at the Tata Theatre. It's a musical on the 30th of May, 6:30 p.m. Tickets are going out very fast at Book My Show, as well as at the venue, the National Centre of the Performing Arts. Wonderful cast that includes Vikas Rawat and Reshma Shetty, who we've just talked to, and Pushpanjali Chaurasia, the writer of the show, was also in conversation with us. Lovely. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
94.3 Radio 1.